Have you ever had a teacher who had such a profound impact on your life that you'll always remember them for the rest of your life? Think about that for a second. For me, the person that comes to mind is my high school music director, Mr. Bankert. Now, Mr. Bankert was only there for 2 years while I was in high school. He took on the role of the music director after the longtime previous music director, Mr. Williams, who is, if anyone is from my area, he's pretty much a legend in the realm of music and choral directing at my high school. And so, huge shoes to fill coming in. And so, there's a lot of questions about Mr. Bankert's ability to lead and to fill those shoes because, quite frankly, it was a lot. Mr. Banker answered every one of those questions with a resounding yes, he can do it. And I think one of the main things that there are three main things that stick out about Mr. Bankert and why he had such a profound impact, not just on me, but on the people around him and the Pequea Valley High School community as a whole. So one of the main things that you would notice right away about Mr. Bankert is he made time for you, and not just anybody, for you, whoever you were, even if you didn't have much time to give. Everyone that knew him and was around, and he still is around, that is around for Mr. Bankert while he's teaching, knows that he likes to leave his office door open. And a lot of times, students, including myself when I was there, would come in and hang out, even if he's busy doing work, eating lunch, doing whatever, and come in and sit down and just talk about life, talk about the show coming up, talking about whatever they need to get off their chest or just explain to him. And he would sit and listen and just be a person that either would offer advice or just be someone to listen. And for a lot of students, that's what they need. And quite frankly, students don't need much more than that. And a lot of times they're coming from homes where they aren't listened to very much. And the fact that he would do that and leave his office door open is just one of the examples of how he would take time out of his day that he didn't have to make students feel special and loved. Another thing I want to point out about Mr. Bankert and pay tribute to was the fact that he was always encouraging while never letting us settle for anything less than excellence. So in choir, he would always push us, and specifically during the musical season, the very first year he was there, he picked one of the most challenging shows you could do in Phantom of the Opera. We had never done it before in our school's history, and it's quite the task to take on. But he decided to do it anyway, in his first year of all years, and pushed us and believed in us and told us that we could handle it. And even though there's a lot of controversy about who got what part, he invested in and took the time out to work with every single person and never failed to give an encouraging word to every member of the cast, but also wasn't afraid to light a fire under the cast as well when they were failing or not doing the best that they could. For example, dropping lines a week before the show, or not feeling prepared about a piece of music a week before the show. He was not afraid to lay into you and let you know just how much you needed to care about this. And needless to say, that show still goes down as one of the best shows that Pequea Valley's ever put on, and that's because of the dedication he had to his students. Finally, I think one of my most favorite attributes and things I want to point out about Mr. Bankert was his ability to have fun with the students, but not losing his command and the respect of his students at the same time. One example that I like to point out is during the holiday season, he would dress up in a Buddy the Elf costume from the movie Elf and spend the entire day dressed up in that costume. And it was just a way for the students to laugh and have a good time and joke around. But he also knew when to take it back and to be serious, and if anything would ever start getting out of hand, he knew how to take charge and say, all right, no, we need to focus, and people would listen, because he was also able to have fun, because if he was always strict and hard, people wouldn't have that respect and feel like they'd want to work for him and respect him at the same time. So I think with all these being said, it's really plain to see that Mr. Bankert was and still is a true man of God who loves the Lord, his family, and loves his students. Thank you.